Okay, so we recently did a video on the best footballer from every one of the 50 US states. It took an absolute age to research, but our US viewers seem to enjoy it, and we are the People's Channel after all. We had lots of similar suggestions asking us to look at the best players from a variety of regions, both local and global. We contemplate doing a video on the best footballer from every nation on earth, but it'd take about a week, so instead we're just going to focus on Europe today, and we may expand to more continents if this video does well. Just as a quick note, the nations included are purely those affiliated with UEFA, regardless of their nation status and/or geography, and the player chosen is based solely on current ability and the nation they represent at full international level. Here are our views on the best footballer from every country in Europe. Albania, El Said Hussein. In alphabetical order, of course, we start with Albania, and it was a pretty easy decision for the Balkan nation. Ranked 57th in FIFA's world rankings, Albania have a handful of decent players, but El Said Hussein is comfortably the pick of the bunch. A quick, strong and defensively solid right back who has the legs to get up and down the pitch all game long, his side plays for Napoli in Serie A. Andorra, Mark Vales. As with our US states video, there's a lot to get through here, so we may have to be terse with one or two nations. A nation of just over 75,000 people, if anything, Andorra are overachievers in footballing terms. Our choice as Andorra's best player would be Mark Vales, a versatile defence-minded 28-year-old. Formerly of the Real Madrid third team, Vales now plays in Norway's top flight. Armenia, Henrik Mkhitaryan. Quite probably the easiest choice in this entire video, Henrik Mkhitaryan has been named as the Armenian Footballer of the Year 8 times. A quick and technically gifted midfielder who can play out wide or through the middle, Mkhitaryan plays for Arsenal, having previously turned out for Borussia Dortmund and Manchester United. Austria, David Alaba. There was probably a time when we would have said David Alaba was the best left back in the world. Not anymore, and his form on the international stage has been particularly disappointing, so much so that Marko Arnautovic even earned a split-second consideration here, but the Bayern man still has to take it for now. Azerbaijan, Dmitry Nazarov. Ranked outside of FIFA's top 100, Azerbaijan isn't a nation which boasts a whole load of top-class professional footballers. Dmitry Nazarov is the pick of the bunch, a pacey second striker who plays in the second tier of German football. Belarus, Alexander Martinovic. If most people were asked to name a footballer from Belarus, they most likely either blank or remember Alexander Hleb hails from the landlocked former Soviet nation. Hleb is actually still playing at the age of 37, but Belarus's finest is now Alexander Martinovic. The 31-year-old centre-back captains the national team, and he is the vice-captain of Europa League outfit FC Krasnodar. Belgium, Kevin De Bruyne. The joint leaders of FIFA's world rankings right now, Belgium have a star-studded starting 11, and they reached the semi-finals of the 2018 World Cup. Eden Hazard runs him closest, but top spot for us has to be Kevin De Bruyne. A joyous footballer with superb technique and vision, De Bruyne may be the best midfielder in the world. Bosnia, Miralem Pjanic. A timely arrival when talking about classy midfield players, Miralem Pjanic is a man who falls firmly into that category. We can't not mention Edin Dzeko, who is perhaps even more of a talisman for the national team, but Pjanic would still be our pick purely in terms of talent. An excellent passer of the ball who is capable of controlling a game, Pjanic has been with Juventus since 2016. Bulgaria, Ivan Popov. These are dark days indeed for Bulgarian football. The former World Cup semi-finalists haven't even qualified for the competition for 20 years, and they rank below the Democratic Republic of Congo in the current FIFA World Rankings. Dimitar Berbatov wasn't even far off topping this one, but in the end we give it to Ivan Popov, an explosive 30-year-old attacking midfielder who plays for Spartak Moscow. Croatia, Luka Modric. Having reached the final of the 2018 World Cup, everyone knows Croatia have assembled a nice little collection of players. By far the best, however, is Luka Modric, and the world-class central midfielder comfortably takes this one. Cyprus, Pieros Sotiriou. The Cypriot national team can be a decent unit, as they proved in their most recent outing, a 2-1 win against Slovenia. They aren't really blessed with an obvious star man though, but we'd say Pieros Sotiriou was the right choice as their best player. A devilish centre-forward who was prolific for Apoel in his hometown, Sotiriou now plays for Copenhagen in the Danish Superliga. Czech Republic, Petr Cech. 9-time Czech Footballer of the Year Petr Cech may be on his way out now, age 36, but he is still our choice for the Czech Republic. The former Chelsea shotstopper has won it all, and he looks set to battle it out with Bernd Leno for the #1 shirt at Arsenal this season. Denmark, Christian Eriksen. There's not much to dwell on here. Christian Eriksen is by far and away the best footballer from Denmark. A top-class playmaker who wouldn't look out of place in any team in the world. Yes, Eriksen does come out ahead of Nicklas Bendtner for us. England, Harry Kane. The first former World Cup winners in this 7, England reached the semi-finals of the competition in 2018. The Three Lions have a handful of very decent footballers, but Harry Kane is undoubtedly their star man. Still only 25, the prolific centre-forward has scored 143 goals in 220 games for Tottenham and 19 goals from 32 caps for England, having won 2 Premier League Golden Boots and 1 World Cup Golden Boot. Estonia, Ragnar Klavan. He may be a bit of a forgotten man at Liverpool, but in a nation where basketball can rival football as the most popular sport, Ragnar Klavan is #1. The veteran centre-back captains the Estonian national team, with whom he has won 125 caps, as well as being named as Estonian Footballer of the Year 5 times. Faroe Islands, Jones Simon Edmundsen. Located halfway between Norway and Iceland, with a population that could fit inside St James's Park, the Faroe Islands are doing pretty well to rank above India and Israel in FIFA's world rankings. Their best player plays in the second tier of German football as a second striker, and somewhat ironically, spent 2 seasons at Newcastle United as a youngster. Finland, Lukas Hradecky. Unlike their near neighbours, football doesn't reign supreme in terms of sporting popularity in Finland, and that is reflected in the nation's success on the international stage. Lukas Hradecky is a rare Finnish talent though, the 28-year-old shotstopper, a regular in the Bundesliga, currently at Bayer Leverkusen and formerly of Eintracht Frankfurt. France, Antoine Griezmann. The reigning world champions, who have a really youthful squad capable of competing for years to come, there were no shortage of options for France. Antoine Griezmann is the pick of the bunch in our eyes, the 27-year-old averaging better than a goal every other game for Atletico Madrid, and having been the top scorer at Euro 2016 and the joint second top scorer at the 2018 World Cup. Georgia, Solomon Kverkvelya. Georgia's 2 best players both play their club football in the Russian Premier League, and we think Solomon Kverkvelya is the better of the 2. A towering centre-back, the dependable 6'5" 26-year-old plays for Lokomotiv Moscow, having previously spent 6 years with Rubin Kazan. Germany, Manuel Neuer. There's likely to be great debate with this one, and since it comes down to current ability, it was a toss-up between Toni Kroos and Manuel Neuer for us. We've gone for Neuer, but we wouldn't argue with anyone who went for Kroos for too long. Neuer is an incredible presence between the sticks who has the remarkably rare modern distinction of having had a genuine impact upon the way in which the position he occupies is played. Gibraltar, Scott Wiseman. The second lowest ranked UEFA nation, Gibraltar only became UEFA affiliated in 2013. The vast majority of Gibraltar's players play their football domestically, but one who doesn't is Scott Wiseman. The former Hull City trainee plays for Salford City FC, the free-spending non-leaguers who are run by some famous faces from Manchester United's class of '92. Greece, Sokratis Papastathopoulos. Euro 2004 winners Greece have a few handy players, but their 2 best make up their centre-back partnership. There's not much to split Roma regular Kostas Manolas and Arsenal newcomer Sokratis Papastathopoulos. But if pushed, we'd go with a slightly more experienced Papastathopoulos. Hungary, Peter Galaxy. From the days of Puskas and Kocsis to today, where Peter Galaxy takes top spot for Hungary. The nation has fallen a long way, and we almost gave this one to Balas Jujusak, but the 31-year-old is playing in the UAE now, whilst Galaxy has impressed between the sticks for RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. Iceland, Gylfi Sigurdsson. UEFA's remarkable overachievers for the last few years, the tiny island nation of Iceland currently have their best ever crop of players. Everton playmaker Gylfi Sigurdsson is still by far and away the pick of the bunch though, a really creative and technical attacking midfielder who is excellent from dead ball situations. Republic of Ireland, Seamus Coleman. Gone are the days of your Roy Keanes, Damien Duffs and Robbie Keanes. There are no real star men in the Ireland squad anymore. Our pick, still, as the best right now though, would be Seamus Coleman. An excellent, energetic and attack-minded right back, Coleman's career was put on hold by an awful leg break in March 2017, but he has come back positively, making it 2 Evertonians in a row in this video. Israel, Eran Zahavi. It was a really tough decision picking top spot for Israel. Bibras Natko and Tom Mohamed easily could have taken it, but in the end, we have to edge towards Eran Zahavi. A lethal attacking midfielder with a ridiculous goal-scoring record, Zahavi scored 124 goals in 168 games for Maccabi Tel Aviv, and the Israeli has managed 67 goals in 78 games since joining Guangzhou R&F, outscoring any of the Chinese Super League's big money arrivals. Italy. Leonardo Bonucci. Two tough choices in quick succession, it was a toss-up between Leonardo Bonucci, Giorgio Chiellini, Marco Verratti, Lorenzo Insigne, and even Gianluigi Buffon for Italy. Any of the above would have been open to debate, just as our choice of Leonardo Bonucci is. As good a defensive reader of the game as any defender in world football, Bonucci is a really solid centre-back, and he returned to Juventus from AC Milan over the summer. Kazakhstan. Yurkabulin Saidakmet. This is a controversial choice for Kazakhstan, although unless you are a Kazakhstani, I doubt you'd know it was. It's controversial because Yurkabulin Saidakmet is 18 years old, and he has only won one cap for the Kazakh national team, although he did score in it. He may be incredibly young and inexperienced, but we already consider the Russian Premier League striker to be Kazakhstan's finest. Kosovo. Milo Rashica. The youngest members of UEFA, having only become affiliated in 2016, it makes sense that Kosovo's best player should be a youngster as well. 22-year-old Milo Rashica takes it for us, the young attacking midfielder currently impressing for Werder Bremen, having previously been capped by Albania. Latvia. Andris Vanins. There's a real blend of youth and experience in this list, and I suspect Andris Vanins will be the oldest player to feature. The 38-year-old goalkeeper has won 86 caps for Latvia, and he is still the country's number one. The veteran shotstopper currently plays for FC Zurich in Switzerland. Liechtenstein. Marcel Buchel. A tiny landlocked micro-state bordered by Switzerland and Austria, Liechtenstein have an unsurprisingly terrible national team. Their best player is Marcel Buchel, who was born in Austria but has been capped 11 times by Liechtenstein. Aged 27, Buchel is a well-rounded central midfielder who plays for Serie A outfit Empoli. Lithuania. Lukas Spalvis. In a country where basketball reigns supreme, Lithuania don't have top-class footballers coming out of their ears. Lukas Spalvis is the best, a young forward who plays second fiddle at Kaiserslautern in Germany's Bundesliga. Luxembourg. Laurent Jans. One thing this video makes clear is that many of Europe's minnows begin with a letter near the middle of the alphabet. Luxembourg continue that trend, and their best player is Laurent Jans, who captains the national team and plays as a right-back for Metz in Ligue 1. Macedonia. Goran Pandev. For a country of only 2 million people, Macedonia have produced some good players over the years. Choosing their number one required some real thought, but in the end I'm sticking with 35-year-old Goran Pandev. Formerly of Inter Milan and Napoli, the slow but technically gifted striker still plays in Serie A, but now for Genoa. Malta. Andrei Shembri. I'm not saying there are no genuinely good footballers from Malta, but their best player plays in the Cypriot First Division. That man is Andrei Shembri, a 32-year-old striker who has scored 3 goals from 84 caps for the national team. Moldova. Alexandru Eperenu. It's a really easy choice for Moldova, and Alexandru Eperenu is a player who has featured on sevens before. An old school and experienced centre-back, Eperenu captains the Moldovan national team, as well as representing Istanbul Başakşehir of the Turkish Super League at club level. Montenegro. Stevan Jovetic. Few nations with fewer than 1 million people have churned out as much quality as Montenegro in recent years. Stefan Savic and Adam Marasic deserve mentions, but Stevan Jovetic is Montenegro's finest footballer. The 28-year-old has had a career hampered by injuries, but he is a really gifted forward who has bagged 11 goals in 23 games since joining Monaco in 2017. Netherlands. Virgil van Dijk. Right, there's bound to be a big debate here between Arjen Robben and Virgil van Dijk, just as there was in my head when drawing up this list. Van Dijk is of course nowhere near Robben at his peak, but since we are looking at current ability only, we've just edged towards the world's most expensive defender. The logic that got us there was ranking Robben in a list of the world's best wingers and Van Dijk in a list of the world's best centre-backs. Van Dijk came out higher for us, so he takes it for the Netherlands. Northern Ireland. Johnny Evans. It doesn't seem like long ago that Johnny Evans was being linked with the likes of Manchester City, Arsenal, and even a return to Manchester United, and although he has fallen a fair distance since then, he's still our choice for Northern Ireland. The 30-year-old joined Leicester City from West Bromwich Albion over the summer. Norway. Joshua King. Norway have a smattering of decent players with a pretty young average age, and they'll be disappointed if they don't qualify for a major tournament over the next few years. Their best player, at both club and international level, is Bournemouth frontman Joshua King. I saw King in his formative years and he looked like an Olympic sprinter. Lightning pace, but not a fat lot else. His game has come on leaps and bounds and he is now a really important player for Eddie Howe on the south coast. Poland, Robert Lewandowski. Obviously, there can only be one candidate for Poland and that is Bayern Munich striker Robert Lewandowski. A classy and complete talisman who has been putting balls in the back of the net on a regular basis for both club and country for a decade now, the 30-year-old is a 7-time Polish Footballer of the Year winner. Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo. Also an incredibly easy decision, Cristiano Ronaldo has been the best player from Europe for more than a decade, never mind just Portugal. An incredible footballer and athlete who ranks among the greatest to ever lace up a pair of football boots, Ronaldo's inclusion will surprise no one. Romania, Stefan Radu. Best known for their heroics at the 1994 World Cup, the Romanian national team hasn't had a great deal to shout about in recent years. There were a few players who came to mind here, but ultimately Stefan Radu is the right choice. A really solid left back who has been with Lazio in Serie A for more than 10 years, Radu retired from international duty in 2013 at the age of 26. Russia, Alexander Golovin. Russia showed at the 2018 World Cup that they weren't as rubbish as everyone thought, and picking a star man for territorially the largest nation on earth isn't easy. Their most talented player, however, has to be Alexander Golovin. A young central midfielder who is energetic and tidy on the ball, Golovin joined Monaco from CSKA and Moscow for more than €30 million in the summer. San Marino, Eli Benedettini. The lowest ranked UEFA nation in FIFA's world rankings, San Marino have only ever won one official match, and that was a friendly against Liechtenstein way back in April 2004. We think their best player is Eli Benedettini, a backup goalkeeper at Novara in Italy's Serie C. Scotland, Andy Robertson. Scotland's two best players are both left backs, Andy Robertson and Kieran Tierney. Celtic star Tierney is an exceptional young talent, but given the level in which Robertson is currently proving himself at, we have to go with the Liverpool man. A flying left back with tremendous energy and the ability to whip a really dangerous ball into the box, Robertson is a regular for Jurgen Klopp now. Serbia, Sergei Milinkovic-Savic. There were at least 3 players who were strong candidates for Serbia, but we'd have to order them Alexander Mitrovic 3rd, Nemanja Matic 2nd, and Sergei Milinkovic-Savic 1st on current reckoning. Milinkovic-Savic is an enormous talent, although he is still very raw, as he proved at the World Cup. There had been talk of €100 million moves, but we think another season at Lazio could be the best outcome for everyone concerned. Slovakia, Marek Hamsik. Slovakia's standout player for a long time now, Marek Hamsik recently overtook Diego Maradona as Napoli's all-time leading scorer. The goal-getting midfielder has been playing his club football in Naples since 2007. Where his impressive technique and timely arrivals into the box have proved so deadly. Slovenia, Jan Oblak. Much like Scotland, Slovenia's 2 finest footballers share a position. Even more inconveniently in the case of the Slovenians, that position is between the sticks, meaning there really is no way of shoehorning both players onto the pitch at the same time. Samir Handanovic is a very talented and underrated goalkeeper, but Jan Oblak is probably among the best 3 or 4 goalkeepers in the world. Spain, David De Gea. I'm not 100% sure, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this will be the most debated selection in the comments section. Make no mistake, it's not a decision I've taken lightly. Sergio Ramos and Sergio Busquets are the 2 players who really ran David De Gea close, and the Manchester United goalkeeper's uninspiring performances at the World Cup seem to have lost him a lot of love here on YouTube. We still think he's the best goalkeeper in the world, and we just have him ahead of the aforementioned duo. Sweden, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Equally controversial perhaps, although for altogether different reasons, is our choice for Sweden, the one and only Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Swedes may be quick to point out that their national team looks stronger without the self-aggrandising centre-forward, and I wouldn't disagree, but this list is based purely on current ability. In that respect, even at 36, we think Ibrahimovic has to take it. The former PSG man has scored 17 goals in 22 games for LA Galaxy since heading over to the MLS. Switzerland, Xherdan Shaqiri. Stefan Lichtsteiner, Ricardo Rodriguez and Granit Xhaka may all warrant mentions, but we believe Switzerland's best player right now has to be Xherdan Shaqiri. He may have been inconsistent for much of his career and struggling for a starting berth at Liverpool right now, but the former Bayern Munich man has magic in his boots, and he'll get plenty of game time at Anfield this season we've no doubt. Turkey, Hakan Çalhanoğlu. It was a tough choice when it came to Turkey. A couple of years ago, you'd probably have said Arda Turan. Now the former Atletico man is nowhere to be seen, and we've gone for dead ball specialist Hakan Çalhanoğlu. The 24-year-old former Bundesliga star is now a regular at AC Milan as they look to return to the apex of the European game. Ukraine. Andrei Yarmolenko. A familiar face to most football fans, Andrei Yarmolenko has been around for a while now, having been linked with everyone during his time at Dynamo Kiev. He ended up joining Borussia Dortmund, where he lasted just a season before signing for West Ham in the summer. Despite missing a sitter against Chelsea last weekend, Yarmolenko is Ukraine's best player right now in our eyes. Wales. Gareth Bale. I suspect this is the longest video we've ever made, and thank you if you've stuck about for the whole thing, but at least it ends in style. The last few countries all have decent players at their disposal, and Wales are no exception. Looking good under Ryan Giggs, Wales' star man is quite obviously Gareth Bale. The Real Madrid man could also be the star man at the Bernabeu this season, following Cristiano Ronaldo's departure, and he has already scored 4 goals in 6 games this season. So that's it for our Not Actually a 7. Thanks for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to HITC7s. You can also follow us on Twitter at HITC7s.